All right. Welcome back to episode 3 of what I did this week for my music business. And I am Cato of B.L.A.M.E.SOCIETY. That's Black Liberated Arts Movement and Entertainment. A lot has happened this week. I've done a lot this week. And let's see if we can jump into it. Let's start off by going over Monday. So the 16th, I wrote down dates this time. And let's see here. Oh, one of the first things I did was review the tracks that I'm going to perform coming up. So I'm excited about that. Number one, I think I shared with you guys last episode that me and Damo were accepted in a festival slot. And I'm really excited about that. We get 15 minutes. And I have several things I want to share with people who are there. Specifically, I'm going to do the new song. Some of you guys have probably already heard it. Especially if you're a part of the newsletter, I sent that out twice and I've shared it a couple times. It might be on TikTok now for sure. I can't remember, but I'm excited to do that song live for the first time. I'm also on top of that practicing for that festival slot. On top of that, we have a open mic coming up this weekend. I kind of slowed down popping out to those, not because I don't want to do them. It's just that I'm trying to do some more scheduling for sessions and things like that, and so I'm trying to do things like that. But I do want to pop out and show love to the Church of Rap this weekend. I believe their next one is the 28th, so that'll be this Saturday. By the time you see this, it'll be this Saturday. And I got a song called, what did I call it? I Had a Dream. And when we did the release party a couple weeks ago, when we did that, I did an a cappella version of the last two verses. And I kind of stumbled on the fourth verse, but it's okay. I'm excited to do it, the actual song with the music, with everything that comes with that. And I'm gonna do that for Church of Rap this weekend. So I'm excited about that because I just didn't have a good place to perform that one yet, but I feel like this will be a good place to do that. Good. Church of Rap, formerly known as the Agora Cypher. They hail some of the two brightest and most amazing MCs that I ever met and talked to and got the chance to sit in a circle with and rap with. Arch Guru, aka AG, and Q, aka quite frankly the GOAT. And they're just magnificent with their craft, with their artistry. And whenever I talk about them, I always show love and say nice things because they are wonderful in everything that they do. So shout out to them. Can't wait to see you guys this Saturday. Another thing I did, I reached out to the IRS. So that's crazy. That's crazy work to say. I reached out to the IRS. But no. So basically, you guys know I filed for my business, my LLC. I got it. We worked moving and grooving. I was reviewing some of the paperwork for some. I forgot what I was going to do, but I was reviewing some paperwork and I realized that on my EIN, when I put that information in, I forgot to add, this is going to sound so silly, bro. Don't judge me because I'm a human and we all make mistakes, fam. But I messed around and forgot to put society on the end, right? And so I needed to reach out to the IRS because, I can only imagine how important that one difference can make, especially depending on whatever type of business endeavor I'm doing. So I was like, I don't want to find out the hard way. I want to fix it now. So I reached out to them. When I first called, I got put on hold for like 30 seconds or maybe a minute. And then I think it was like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. They did not answer the phone. Instead, I got an automated message that said, because of our call volume, you know how they be like, we'll put you on hold, we'll call you back or something like that. They didn't even do that. They was like, nah, fam, like, try back tomorrow. Like, basically, I was like, what? How rude, right? But I was like, forget it. I will reach back out tomorrow and see what happens. The next day, I did call back, and it was like at 9 o'clock. And it was the same thing. They were like, if you could, we'll call you back. I was like, they actually gave me that option this time. So I was like, okay, bet. Gave them my number. They called me back. And basically, she was like, if it was one letter, we could fix this over the phone. But because it's a whole word, you're going to have to write a letter. Like, I had to write down all the instructions, y'all. It was like, I got to write a letter, which I wrote. And in that letter, I had to write the current name of the business, the name I needed it to be. I needed to include the IEN number. I needed to include my name. I think they needed my social security as well. So I was like, okay, I haven't mailed that letter yet because I don't have an envelope. We will get that done though. I just got to get an envelope, and I will. Let's see here. I did go to the post office though. I think I went, was it Friday? No, I went Wednesday. I went to the post office on Wednesday, and I was going to buy some, but I just wanted one. I was hoping I could buy one. And she was like, "Oh no, they're behind that little cart." I was like, "All right, I'll go look." I was like, "Y'all wanted almost $3 for a 20 pack of envelopes. I'm good." I called my wife, like, "Yo, do we got envelopes at home?" She said, "Yeah, I think so." We did not, but I'm not gonna pay that. I'm gonna see if I can find an envelope at my job. Okay, so depending on where you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube. Usually, that's where I post my content, especially the long videos. However, what I do is I'm gonna say this word wrong, and forgive me. I think, what is it? Magnum opus. I thought it was magnum opus, but apparently it's magnum opus. But either way, I could have both of those completely wrong. But the word is OPUS, 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 whatever. There is this software that you can find online called Opus Clips. I believe it is. Yep, or Opus Clips, right? And basically, you upload, or if you're using the free version, you add a link from YouTube, and it clips up the videos depending on how you want them to clip them up, as far as like rating them from least to most. What am I trying to say? It rates their virility from most to least. There. And it's really cool because it adds the cool captions in them, and so on and so forth. Like, it's a great tool. However, they got hip about how cool their tool was and how much you can actually get off using the free version. So they changed it. So it used to be that you could upload the video, they'll chop it up for you for free, and they would do the captions for you, like style. You can pick the style and all that stuff. But you used to be able to edit the captions. Major, like, I don't know if you know how important that is, but it is, because AI and whatever software they use doesn't always get it right. For instance, when you see Cato, they never have a C. It's always a K, right? So like, I would use, especially for 32 weeks, I would have to use it to fix, or excuse me, I would have to edit the shorts, the captions, so that it was just spell my name right. And so it never got that right. And they made it to where you cannot edit the captions anymore. I was like, oh. So then I was like, okay, let me try turning the captions off, because I can run them through TikTok and do the captions there, because TikTok actually does a really good job of their caption service, and pretty accurate. I thought I turned them off. I know I turned them off. But when the clips came back to me, the captions were there, and there's no way to just delete them either. So it's like, you're screwed either way. And so right now I'm also trying to find another software, or a free software service that'll clip up the long videos and chop them up for the low. If not, what's going to happen is I'll have to either not do the shorts anymore or make time to chop them up myself, which I honestly don't feel like doing. I'm not lazy. It's just that it's too tedious and it takes up too much time. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. On the flip side, on some good news, I had a session this week with the poet by the name of Clintus. Phenomenal poet, man. And this was my first time actually recording someone. Was it the first? Other than recording myself reading for like audiobook or for the album, which I want to say this was the first time I actually like recorded a poet with no music. So there was no music or anything, just us in the room, and he recorded his vocals a cappella. And this man, I don't know. I could be jumping to conclusions when I call him a genius. But the way this man uses his voice, so when you record, let me slow down. When I'm recording an artist who's rapping, right? there's many takes that are involved. You know, sometimes they deliver it in one take and it's beautiful. Sometimes it takes us multiple times to get through it. Sometimes we can punch in, just given the circumstances and how we do it. But you know, it's always like you need the music to guide you for the pacing and things like that. So it's a little bit different when you're reading poetry. You have a pacing because we don't have uh, a measure or a metronome, if you will, to test how fast you're going. So it's kind of hard to punch in at times and to keep it the same. Neither here nor there. The point I'm telling you this is because um, the takes we did were usually from the beginning, like he had to start over and do them. But he got it either on the third or fourth one. And because they were pretty short poems, you know, he did like 4 or 5 poems that night. And but a genius because his words are magnificent. I don't know how to I don't know. Dude is a magnificent MC as well. But his poetry is just the way it's not even what it's not always what he's saying, but it's like how he delivers it, you know, and I feel like that is a huge strength of his. Maybe I'm a little envious. I feel like I have pretty good delivery too when it comes to spitting, but I feel like his is really good, especially when it comes to like if you heard all the takes and you know you hear the one we actually kept, you would hear what I'm talking about because it's like he does like a bass line where he just kind of reads through it, and then like he goes back making a couple differences within the inflection of his voice, and it's like by the last take, you know, he found his pocket and it's just spot on, like where I'm getting chills sitting here listening to him. You know what I'm saying? With no music. You know, music definitely gives me what they call frisson, where you can feel the goosebumps, like the hair stands up in your arms or on the back of your neck or something like that. But to get it from somebody just speaking with no music is crazy work. So shout out to Clintus, man. That was one of my favorite sessions I've had in a long time. So that was really nice. Let's see here. All right, I told you about how I called the IRS back the next day. Okay, so here we go. On Tuesday, I believe it was, same day I had got back in touch with the IRS and I was freaking out about getting my name fixed on my EIN. I got the bank account, fam. I got a bank account, and I'm so excited because it's like one of the I don't know, maybe the second largest step in this process, man, besides getting a legal business. And now there's a legal bank account that's tied to that business, like fire. The only downside is, man, I got to wait for my debit card to come. So I can't go in and like fix some of the things I've already done and take it off of my personal information and put it on the business information yet. So that's one thing I'm waiting on. But I had a great time sitting there. I got there. Let's see, it closed. The actual bank, the financial institution closed that day at, was it 5? No, 4. They closed at 4 that day. And I had got there right at 3:30. And my guy Jonathan hooked me up. Jonathan, if you're seeing this, appreciate you, man. That was a great time. We talked about heavy metal. We talked about just music. We talked about how long he was there, what he planned on doing. Dude was just funny. It was cool, man. It was a good time. He was very supportive and kind and just very helpful in this process. And I hope that, you know what I'm saying, he'll be there when I start getting loans and things like that, because he'll make that process so much easier, man. So shout out to Jonathan. Really excited about the bank account, man. Like that's a huge step in the direction that we want to go. Wednesday, I got in touch with I did a lot on Wednesday, man. I got in touch with the venue for the listening session. Remember, I'm still setting that up. And I think I found the location. No, I know I found the location. So I told y'all about the Northwest Coffee Roasting Company. I never heard back from them. Sucks, but maybe they'll get back to me and maybe we'll schedule something else for that location. But I got in touch with Interwine, which is actually within my own neighborhood, which is like so special. And I heard about them from like a year ago. And I've always was interested in popping out to see what they had available for like being a residency musician and possibly just like playing there on a regular basis. Me and Damo, like just seeing what they would offer. And that might be an option too. But I actually never got a chance to go. Like it just time was never on my side for that. However, I sent them an email. You know how you can go to people's websites. They didn't have their email up, but they had the contact form up. So you fill it out and it basically sends them an email and they're supposed to get back to you. So I had did that earlier that week. I didn't hear back from them. So I had made a note to call them back on Wednesday. So I called them back. I got in touch with a lady named Tasha. Shout out to Tasha. And we started talking and she was saying things that I like to hear as far as like when we're trying to plan something, like a lot of okays, a lot of like, come check it out. Um, so I was like, I'm gonna try to get there Wednesday today. If not, I'm gonna come Thursday, which was Juneteenth. So I popped out on Thursday evening, and guys, I just want to say, I don't even know what to say other than it's a beautiful establishment, man. Black owned, right in my neighborhood. Like, oh my God, bro. Like, you walk in, they have flowers all over the, like, from the wall to the ceiling to the wall. Like, it's just floral and it's beautiful, man. Like, the wood that goes along with that, it just breathes and sings and speaks life. And, but I was like there to see the upstairs because the upstairs was more of the private space. So I go upstairs, lounge vibes, beautiful up there too. Very, I don't know if I would say simple, but it was like, it's very intimate. It's very, they even have a stage up there because that's where they do the open mics. And I was like, yo, that's really sick. Like, I can see us doing something up here too. However, hold on, let me, before I get to that, I talked to the co-owner, Tasha's husband, partner, Chip, and he showed me the rest of the establishment. So basically, he's working on like a cigar lounge. It was sick. Like, he has a whole screen in there. He said so people can come through and watch the game. They had a back patio, which him and I can't remember if he said his cousin or his friend or his brother helped him build, but it was beautiful, man. Like, he said he's gonna stain it and everything. Like, even without the stain, like, it looked beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, these people are really taking time to build their business and present it in a way where you feel welcome and loved. And I hope that people are getting that same feeling from Cato, from Damo, from my sisters, you know what I'm saying? Tyson, like, that's how I want people to feel about B.L.A.M.E. Society, you know, when we do business with them, that we also want to make you feel loved, to make you feel welcome, and like make you feel good, man, to be around us and to hear the music and get the music from us, you know? So anyway, I talked to them and they basically said that Sunday, you know, basically they was going to charge me a fee, right? But they were like, if you do it on a Sunday, you know, we'll let you do it for free. For free? For free. I was like, bet. So I got my spot. I already got a date. Like, we on and popping now. At this point, I just got to get the details worked out. As far as like interacting with you, right? Tasha and Chip got me. Like, I got them. We cool. I'm waiting on y'all. Like, this is what I need now. So one of the things that I also did for this whole session, you know, the listening session experience, is I made a form. I needed to make a form to where I can get the information I need to do this custom merch, but also so I know who's coming, and so I can tailor the experience for my guests. And with that being said, like, it took, man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. So I was on Google Forms, man, and simple enough. I have no issue with Google Forms. Thank you, Google. What I have a problem with is the extensions of these third parties that integrate with Google, and it was just a mess. So it was like one called, I think it was Payable Forms. I could be wrong. It was either Pay Forms or Payable Forms, but I think it was both of them. But one of them was like giving me hell. Like, it just was not doing what it was supposed to do. I switched to the other one, and it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. I reached out to them. They hit me back, was like, yo, go incognito. I was like, bet. I put it incognito. It worked. I was like, okay, cool. But it still wasn't generating the confirmation page that I needed. Because what I expected, what I felt like should have happened was, when you go to checkout, right? When you hit this button, it's supposed to show your whole order, basically your whole response to the form, so that it's like a receipt, right? So everything you did is on that form, and so you see it, I see it, so we know. And you're supposed to pay right there while you're looking at it. No, that's not what happened. So basically, what it did was it connects to my PayPal, which is fine, and which was really helpful, because when it goes to the PayPal, I realized, okay, bet I can do what I did with my booking stuff and set it up through them, and that when you click the PayPal, you know, you'll see that and the add-ons for there. So I was like, that'll work. So long story short, I used these pay forms. They didn't really work. Uh, so now you fill out the information, you hit submit, and it takes you to a link to my PayPal, and that's how you pay. So in order for you to reserve your spot, you have to go through the whole form, and then you have to pay. So I know you're reserved and I know you're coming, right? So that's that. On top of that, I'm working on a flyer as well for the event. I'm almost done with it. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Let's see. Let me jump to, we got a couple things left and I'm gonna get out of here. Number one, so remember I was telling you about the booking app I was using called Calendly. Um, my trial thing is up, and I'm so over it, bro. Like, it was just not. So it was more. It actually more of the features were gone than I thought were gonna leave when my trial was over, and one of those was the amount of times you can book in a week. I think it was. So it went down to like one. I was like, really? Come on, man. Now you know I need at least 2 or 3. I'm like, all right, fine. So I was like, there has to be a better way. And some like just clicked. It's like, bro, Google has a calendar. I bet you can do the same thing with Google Calendar. And guess what? You can. So I'm working on that now. I had set up the main form for collecting information for booking for the sessions. But I don't know, the hour is wrong. The what am I saying? The time zone is wrong. And I don't know how to fix it because it looks like the time zone is right, but when you look at my calendar, it's not right. So I'm not sure what that's about. I'm definitely gonna check into that because I need this to work, because I need to be able to, I need to have a way to schedule appointments, schedule booking, in an efficient way. And then, okay, 2 more. I was doing my thing where I'm listening to podcasts on YouTube, and one of my favorite ones, the Manager podcast, had a guy who is the reason I got interested in using the Two Loss distribution company. His name is Dame Ritter. He is the former manager of Hobson. For those who know, that's like the Illmind Hobson 4, Illmind Hobson 5, phenomenal rapper. And basically they built an indie label company like 10, 15 years ago, but they don't work together anymore. But anyway, the point is, Dame Ritter was on there, who's like a spokesman for Two Loss. So whenever he talks, I listen because he has some good information. And one of the things he shared was, they talked about a lot, so don't get it twisted, but one of the things that hit me, you know how when you hear something, it's like, I need to write this down. And it was another tool, and that tool is Metricool. So what this one does is it connects to your social media, at least the free version, right? And it connects to the main 3 or 4, and you can post the same video at the same time. I think that's what it does. I haven't really set up for all of that, but I just wrote it down because that's what I'm gonna look into next. Because as it stands, what happens is, when we make a video and we turn it into short form content and we share it, I have to share it on Twitter or X. I have to share it on Instagram. I have to share it on Facebook. I have to share it on YouTube. I have to share it on TikTok. And so that's like 5, 6 times I have to do this. And each platform has its own restrictions on how much or how little you can post. So it's like it becomes a head scratcher, like, and it's exhausting, and again, a very tedious job. And I've always wondered about technology or software that will help with that, but I just didn't have any good ideas. So Metricool, I'm definitely going to probably look into that and use that. Last thing I want to share is anxiety and fear, man. It's crazy to think, man, after who knows how long, right? But standing in front of people has been a part of my life since a child, right? Whether it's church, singing in front of people for the choir, or like leading a Bible school, things like that, like where you're standing directly in front of people and saying, like, talking, right? And having to know what you're doing. So I've been doing that for a long time, like, and I know that anxiety and that nervousness is normal. What I feel, man, is the anxiety that comes from having to plan certain things, man. It's just like there's so many layers of what ifs, especially like, what if this doesn't happen, or what if, and it gets really hard. Matter of fact, hold on. Okay, I found it. One of the things about anxiety that really it's the layers, right? And so it's like I know things are going to work out. Instinctually, I know I'm going to be okay. However, the process to get there is usually just I get stuck in my head, and when I get there, it's hard to come out. So I don't know if you can read that, but Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I've shared on a couple places that's the book I'm reading right now. It came recommended to me through another educator, excuse me, and I can't wait to talk to him about this. But I came across this one thing, and it was like, oh man, let me read it to you right now. Everyone decided the best way was to just figure you were going to fail, and then go ahead and do what you could anyway. Then you start to relax. Otherwise, you go out of your mind. So out of context, I'm gonna give you the context real quick. So basically, there's a story going on inside of this book about that the narrator is telling us about an educator who was trying to get his class to learn a lesson. And so one of the things they did was they got rid of, or what would happen if you got rid of grades and the idea of a formal education, and basically the idea that those who really want the information will seek it, they will learn, they will pay attention, they will show up to every class. That was the thought behind it. And so what happened was the ones who really wanted it did well. The ones who maybe were they took advantage a little bit of the fact that they didn't have to work as hard, they suffered a little bit. And then the ones who were just like didn't care, obviously didn't do well at all. And so for some of them, the question then became, well, how did you stick with it even though you didn't even know where you stood as far as with the grade? And that was where that phrase came from, that quote comes from. It's just like, this is what helped me. And it's just like, you're going to fail. Something's going to go wrong. It's never going to be perfect. It never looks the way it does in your head, right? Never. It's never going to happen. But you do the work anyway. You take care of the things you can take of, you do your best and let it go. And once I read that, I was like, facts. So my job right now is to just make sure I'm taking the steps that I need to take to ensure that it is successful. Will it be perfect? Absolutely not. You can't please everybody. Even if I threw the perfect event, everybody wouldn't be happy. We can only control the things that we can. And it's a win. I have to remind myself that this event won't happen for like another 2 to 3 months. And my job is to just make sure I got everything in place to the best of my ability and watch it play out. And I think that's it, man. But that fear and anxiety, I was sharing with a friend today, like it just sucks, man. Cause it's like, I know I'm going to be okay, but just dealing with it is rough. In the moment it's rough. But that person showed interest in showing, like, so okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's like, I know I have 20 people, right, that will show up and show out for me. I know this. However, what I don't know is will they pay the ticket? A part of me is like, yes. The other side is like, well, I don't know, cause they might not. But this person was like, oh yeah, I definitely would. Thank you. I needed that validation because I'm not tripping. People will come and support us, bro. And it's going to be the right people for that right time, for the right event. And it's going to be beautiful. Not perfect, but beautiful. All right. With that being said, I've talked enough, man. This video is way too long. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Damo called me. I got to call him back. If nobody told you today that they love you, just know that I do and always will. It's Cato, B.L.A.M.E.SOCIETY. Peace.